All right, here we go. Let's dance again. I kind of had this is gonna be the extended version of the sacred ego. I felt like, or better yet, the spirit told me that I just didn't expand on it too much. And the reason that I didn't do that at that time, which I'm kind of glad that I did, because now I'll probably have more to say. But most importantly, man, like I'm a big advocate of motherfuckers doing the work. It's very important because no matter what I say or how I say it, I don't think it's really gonna help you if you don't do the work. So if this is your first time here, you might want to check out the first one that I did on the sacred ego. At that time, I had the book. It's still gonna be the same book that I don't want to say that I got the information from, but that you can actually learn from and pretty much you know build from there. I was able to learn from that book as well, but I just like my hair, man, I twisted a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So as you notice, we do talk differently over here. You know what I'm saying? It's retarded shit. So my purpose of doing this is pretty much to add that little dot on top of the I, baby. You know what I'm saying? We just want to add that dot, bam, on top of that I. So it's pretty much to bring clarification, and which means pretty much another way of viewing things. Okay, and that's pretty much why I wanted to do this channel because I felt like everything has already been said, but how it's being said, that's what makes a difference. Okay, so the ego. Um, what am I missing here before I get into it? Because you know what I'm saying, I got that fire. I'm definitely on it. You know what I'm saying, especially you know what I'm saying, we're sipping with the motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying, we got that thing going. hmm We on. We on one. You know what I'm saying. So let's get into it. I guess if I miss anything, I'll get back to it because this one here is gonna be a little bit longer. Okay, you know what I'm saying. Buckle up. Okay, so let's talk about it. So if you've seen the previous one, or even if you didn't see it, when we talk about the ego, the reason why I decided to talk about the ego was because a lot of spiritual teachers and a lot of books also let you know that, um, to be spiritual, you pretty much have to kill yourself. You have to resurrect all of that things, which sounds good, which is exactly what it is. However, I felt like nobody has really taken the time to explain how you became that new person, okay? So how you are being born again, but better yet, in respect to the ego, how do you let the ego go? How do you not let the ego rule over you? Okay, and the easy question is the ego has nothing on you, nothing on you at all. Okay, and the only reason why the ego is becoming an issue, it's not because the ego is powerful, but it's because you've been feeding the ego. So now, if you follow the last, or if you saw the last video, pretty much what I was talking about is it's not about the ego, it's about what type of food you're eating. What are you eating? Or what type of information that you are being processed. Okay, so tonight I'm going to talk about the modern day ego or the Western ego, as I like to call it. Then I'm going to touch on the community ego, which is, what I'm saying, what most of my niggas, what I'm saying, be talking about. Each one, teach one, all that shit. And then the last one is spirituality. Now, I did mention in the last one, my man Sifri Manel. Oh, God, fire. Okay. Now, he said something that I did understand at the time that he said it, but no. Okay. That I got to understand a lot better. Okay. So he said, the lion shall sit with the lamb. Okay. So this is a very powerful one. There's a lot of knowledge or light that is being locked into that statement that I feel like that was not being said. Okay, but now a lot of teachers always tell you, the heart is the knowledge that you want, and the heart understanding and heart knowledge is the foundation of spirituality. Now, this is a fact. Now, what is not being known to us is that how do you get to the heart? Do you understand what I'm saying? How do you get to your heart? What is heart knowledge? Okay, and what is, on the other hand, quote unquote, intellect or um, ego knowledge, for lack of better terms. Because to me, and the reason why I keep saying lack of better terms, because the ego really has nothing to do with shit. It has to do. The bottom line is the information that that you're processing. Okay, so but we're gonna get into that. I'm getting ahead of myself. You know what I'm saying? Like I always do, and that's how the spirit. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause you see shit all around you, and you jumping all around. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta tame that monkey too. Mind control. I had a video on that too, so I'm gonna have to extend a little more on that too because I didn't want to take the talk for too long. And the honesty is, I just fucking love talking anyway. But I just wanted to get to the point. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? None of that shit it matters at this point. So let's go to work, right? So when it comes to ego and heart knowledge, all he had to do is the information that is being processed. Okay, because whatever information that you're getting processed is either feeding your heart or it's feeding your intellect or your ego, for lack of better terms, right? So let's start off by talking about the modern day ego or the the Western ego, or you know what I'm saying, whatever the fuck, white people shit. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. Like we have been taught to identify ourselves with everything that we're doing. For instance, your school is you, right? The where you work is you, and all of that shit. So that information has been processed. That's why a lot of people they tend to sense this is me, and they want to look at themselves as being highly regarded or highly viewed. Now it's becoming to a point where um, it's coming to a point where you identify yourself with your school or either your job, either your work, and that's what's feeding the ego. Now, on the flip side of that, if you're feeding the part of you that knows that you're unconditional, right? A job does not reflect you. I mean, in fact, a job has never reflected anybody, or have never shown who you are. I mean, it does to a certain point, but I get to that though. But what I'm trying to say is like, how many of you have had many fucked up jobs and many different jobs depending on where you are in life? Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, maybe that may has to do with depending on where you are in life, right? But it doesn't. But also the fact that you could grow and get another job or go from a fucked up job to a better job show you that the job is not you. Right, I mean, you kind of see the relationship. I mean, in so many ways it is, but it's not because you could grow. So who the fuck is you? So that person, or that's why I can't really judge nobody, man. Like, not because I'm a nice guy, not because I'm looking to be nice, but because I fucking know the truth. And that's how I check the ego, but it's not really checking the ego because the ego isn't really doing nothing to me, but it's the spiritual side of me, the heart knowledge. That's what I'm feeding, and I'm gonna keep feeding that until I don't know further notice, which I can't really foresee now because it is what it is. I mean, that's the shit that you know what I'm saying? But some of the things that you need to know about the ego and your heart understanding or the heart knowledge is that the ego is short sighted. It doesn't see far. Obviously, if you're thinking about, let's say I had a fucked up job, right? And then you're saying that this is who I am, that's short sighted because at any given time I could change. Or at any given time I could be doing something else, finding my passion, many, it's so short sighted, versus the heart knowledge, and that's why you don't judge. So those are not really rules. There are no, those are no. It's just depending on what part of yourself that is being fed or the type of information. That's the crucial part. You gotta watch out what you put in your mouth, man. What you're eating. That's the key. Hmm. Now, as I was talking about the modern day ego. So you go to school, what do you say? Oh, and I gotta talk. Oh, I got so many shit coming out too, man. So many shit that the spirit is showing me that I need to talk about. Language. You know what I'm saying? Languages. And I'm just gonna drop this real fast because I gotta make a whole shit about this. You know, when you talk about language, it's not, it's what it is it's the way you see your world. It's the way that you see your, no. It's the way you see the world, and that's what's being reflected through languages. That's why Americans are American. Americans don't speak English. No, you do not. If you do, I mean, what's the difference? I mean, you want to label, okay, maybe American English or British English, but the reality is you speak American. What it means by that is that you're reflecting the way you see the world in your language. And that's what makes it American. Like for me, I'm Haitian. I speak Haitian. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people like who claim to be intellectual gonna tell you, oh, you speak Creole, or that's what the name of the language is. I mean, if that's the case, every fucking language is a Creole because if you're gonna tell me Creole is a combination of different languages, what the fuck is fucking English then? What the fuck is French? You know, a lot of those fucking languages has Latin, German in them, and all that shit. So are they Creole by proper definition if that's what you're doing? But that's I got a whole shit on that though. I've been working on that thing. You know what I'm saying? I gotta serve a couple niggas on this thing, you know what I'm saying, who claim to be intellectual or maybe they were trained and they label themselves as being educated. So they wouldn't tell you that they speak American, but they would say that I speak English, you know. Or other people would say I wouldn't say that I speak Haitian, but they would say I speak Creole, you know what I'm saying, and the proper definition of it. But anyway, that's just a whole. I just wanted to give you a little bit, a little appetizer. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Oh, you're gonna get the full course, the full entree. But anyway, I'm saying all of this to say this: your language is also another way of how you use your language. Also, depending on what side of you that's being fed. I'll give you a perfect example, and I'll show you how far this go. Right? I mean, unfortunately, I didn't want to get into the language part, but since this is the example that came through, so we're gonna ride with this shit, right? So I went to college, right? But early on, I knew not to say this is my school, and that has nothing to do with fucking speaking proper English, but it has to do with what part of me that I'm feeding, right? Now, I do accounting work. You see, I don't tell you that I am a fucking accountant. I do accounting work. By me talking this way, I dissociate, okay, school and me. I dissociate fucking the work that I do with myself. It's not reflecting me. Because if you want to be honest, the shit that's really reflecting me here, and that's what I was talking about trying to say earlier, is this shit that I'm doing now. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? Because that's the shit I truly love, to be honest. This is, you know what I'm saying? This is, ah, okay? Yeah, it's that way. Okay, I'm that retarded. You heard? But anyway, so there are, in your language, you reflect how you see in the world. When you go to certain colleges, or even having a patch or a sticker that says it's the college that you went to, you are feeding that ego. So you identifying yourself with it. And that's what happens when you ask a motherfucker, what do you do, man? Like, where do you work? Like, you're going to learn quick. This is not the type of question that you ask. Only because the motherfucker like it's a life or death situation. You know what I'm saying? It's not just a job that the niggas working, to gain a little bit of money. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you may have a different dream, or maybe you may have something else going on. And that's exactly what a lot of people do, right? You do this job and then but they wouldn't be able to say it this way. Or if you were to ask them, they would tell you, you know what, man, you know what I'm saying? My goal was to do this, but I'm doing this for now. I mean, even if you have to explain that shit, like me, I wouldn't have to explain shit to your ass. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. That's for me to know. But this is again has nothing to do with, this is just to show the differences, the perception. And most importantly, I'm talking about the knowledge, the information that is fitting your ego. So you would tend to identify yourself with your work because that's what society is giving you. Or I should say the American society because that's where we are right now. And that's most likely the way it is, which is very also influential too. So a lot of that shit will be repetitive in other cultures. But anyway, but that's something else, right? So what I'm really talking about here, but once you start feeding your heart, no, this is just the work that you do. This is just the school that you went to. Not my school, like you getting paid from the school and shit when you paying not when you paying these motherfuckers. But okay, that's another way for them to mind control your ass too. But most importantly, by you being led into that shit, it's pretty much feeding your ego. So your ego is being fed by thinking that way. And the fact that you're thinking that way, so that's the modern day ego. Now your car identifies you. If you're driving a Lexus, guess what? You're not just anybody. You're somebody. But I guess being somebody is better than being anybody. So now you're catching a body. But anyway, I mean, it's so ironic, but by catching a body, what I'm trying to say is it's like you killing yourself, right, by being somebody. But whatever the fuck. I hope you wordplay. Okay. Yeah, I do watch a lot of fucking rap battles, I guess. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a fan of that shit too. But anyway, but we do talk differently over here, though. We're retarded. But most importantly, and that's why oh man, I'm getting so ahead of myself. And that's why I'm going to be talking about languages too. You know what I'm saying? And how it would reflect the world that you're living in. You know what I'm saying? You ever seen why do niggas speak slang? And I'm talking about all type of niggas. Jamaican niggas speak English, they turn that shit into black English. Not because they can't speak properly. Get the fuck out of here, whoever said that shit. Niggas over here, my American niggas, you know what I'm saying? They slang like a motherfucker. They ebonics. Just because they can't speak proper English? What the anyway, but that's niggas under stupidity saying that shit has nothing to do with us. And us Haitian niggas, with the whole French and whatever, we flip that shit into Creole, what they call Creole, but we call it. This is our shit though. You speak Haitian, nigga. Okay, but not to give too much away from this, and also to get back to what I was talking about. It's the information that you're actually feeding yourself, right? And that's what makes the difference. Okay. So now another example. So I was talking about the modern day ego, how you identify yourself with a lot of the shit that what I'm saying that are common. You know what I'm saying? Like your job is you now. Your car that you're driving, I mean, a car that you're using to get to one place to another, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe you may like to. There's nothing wrong with that. But I mean, what I'm trying to tell you is the point here is that it has become you instead of you using it, if that makes any sense, right? So when you process or start viewing life that way, so that's why you wouldn't do certain job because why would you do certain job now? Because it's defining you. Okay, so that's why niggas now are talking about Ivy League schools. Oh, I wouldn't want to go to that school. I would go to this school. And, and I'm not even going to get deep into it because that in itself is just fucking stupid too. But anyway, but that would be a whole different, just bear with me. Yo, just bear with me for a second, right? So, what I'm talking about here is the information that you're being fed, right? So, now understanding duality in life would change your whole perspective. That's feeding your heart. Understanding that anything that is good could be bad and anything that is bad could be good, you know what I'm saying, changes your perspective. I.e., the way niggas be talking. That shit is bad, dog. You know what I'm saying? Really saying this shit is good. But this is a whole different, they all come together, right? But I got something on that. I got something on that. You know what I'm saying? As you can tell, it's it's in the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? It's being cooked, But let's not, digress here too much because I could do that shit all night long. Besides, hey, Spirit told me I got to do this shit over. I'm like, yo, I mean, I don't think there's anything I'm going to be saying better, but it's probably that connection, that resonance that has to be built, that has to be projected out there. You know what I'm saying? Just so, and besides too, man, niggas are like multi fucking dimensional niggas. So you got to get on different dimension with niggas just so they get, you know what I'm saying, whatever it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. But let's sit for a second, man. Bow. Um, Now to get back to what I was talking about. Now understanding. That's why if you feed yourself spiritual things like understanding, just like I was talking about duality, right? Let's say you didn't have your dad in your life, and that was one of the example I used in the previous one. I'm just going to expand on it a little bit. And if something else comes in as I'm talking about it, bam, niggas, y'all gonna get it. So I used Obama, as an example, where he says his father was not in his life, and that helped him to shape his life, right? And so, depending on how you're looking at it, right? So, if you're gonna say, everything is so fucking perception too. Having your mom and dad in your life could be the worst thing, could be the best thing. Now, the best thing is if both of them are spiritual or highly somehow. I don't want to. Well, nigga, I mean I don't see what else because the intellect is gonna fuck you up. So, and spirituality, as I'm referring it now, based on that heart knowledge, right? So, if they're both spiritual, let's just say they're both dumb. That you know what I'm saying? You having two parents both dumb. That's not helping you out, man. And if they stay in the house with you, you're being suffocated, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? You're being killed softly. As it is with a lot of us who actually grew up and started studying for ourselves. But you can also use it in a good way too, because you know what I'm saying, it helped you to step out of certain things. The bottom line is here is that anything that is good could be bad, anything that is bad could be good, right? So understanding that gives you a different perspective in life. And that's where the whole non-judgmental shit comes in. That's because you're getting the knowledge that is fitting that heart, right? So that's where all of that comes from when they tell you about, some of the benefit of the spirit or the fruit of the spirit. You become non-judgmental, you becoming all of that. Because what's happening as you're learning or as you're processing, as you're feeding the heart, is that the ego is just chilling like a motherfucker. This nigga's chilling. And that's how the lion shall sit with the lamb. So as you can see, I already gave you everything here. Well, we're gonna proceed. We're gonna do what niggas do, which is what we talk shit. Not just shit, but there are different dimensions, right, in what we're talking about too. So I get it. Spirit, like, yo, nigga, what you doing? I'm like, okay. Well, that's what we're doing now. Okay. So it's the knowledge, it's the information that you're processing that could either feed your ego or that is feeding your heart or the heart knowledge, right? So, and the heart knowledge, as I was telling you earlier, is the foundation for spirituality. Understanding whatever could be good, could be bad, whatever that is bad could be good. Just the understanding of that, puts you on a whole different level. Another example. What other example can I use here? Okay, so when I talk about, the whole school thing, right? So me knowing this is the job that I do during the day doesn't identify myself as a person. So do you think I would give a fuck? Let's just say somebody's working at Walmart. I may have to pause on that for a minute. A little bit. I wouldn't give my fucks though, but I wouldn't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? I would go, all right, so that's what you do. Do you see what I'm saying? And that's where the whole humbling thing comes in, because it's all has to do with how you being fed, dog. You know what I'm saying? What are you eating? What are you eating? So that's pretty much what it comes down to when we talk about the ego. Because the ego itself, when you become spiritual, it's not like the ego somehow just left. There's no more fucking ego. The ego's still there. It's not being fed. It's being leveled, or it's being sitting down with the lion. You know what I'm saying? And the lion not even gonna eat this nigga because you already know it's not a fight. It's not a fight at all. You're not fighting nobody. You know what I'm saying? Not at all, man. You know what I'm saying? Am I making this sound too easy for you? Well, nigga, it is. Okay? So the bottom line is you have to be careful about the information that you're being fed. That's what it comes down to. Okay, like, you know what I'm saying? Is it the information that's locking you down, or the information that's opening you up? It's giving you more compassion. That's making you more relatable to other people. Because that's what happens. You know what I'm saying? And understanding. Okay, and here's something else too. And I think I did use that example. That's just coming through now. Well, nigga, let's do it. Right? Um, Bobby Hemmett said something. Right? Well, actually, he said a whole lot of shit. But I'm going to use this for the sake of what I'm talking about. And which is true. All right? Not everybody wakes up at the same time in the morning. Not everybody wakes up at the same time in the morning. Some people wake us up at 5 o'clock. Some other people wake us up at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, depending on what the fuck they got to do and things like that. But what he was referring to when he says that is that's another heart knowledge too. That's from the heart. And he was also, and I mean, he wasn't saying it like this, but so many things could be deducted from that. As far as fitting your heart, right? Um, so now, do you think I'm gonna try to, let's just say, argue with somebody, or even trying to um, make people think what I'm saying is true? You know, it's not gonna happen, because everybody wakes up at different times during the day. You know, knowing that though. You know what I'm saying? There's no. Do you see how now I don't even look smart anymore? You know what I'm saying? God damn, nigga. I was trying to look smart, and now look at me. But I look good, though, I'll tell you this much. You know what I'm saying? Ow. You know what I'm saying? So this is a type of knowledge that transforms you. That's fitting the heart. So now You know what I'm saying? It's not about me trying to convince somebody else how intellectual I am. Because I know, no, regardless of what I say, you're not going to get it if you're not supposed to get it, or if you're ready to get it. That's why the Kybalion, it's key to this shit too. You know what I'm saying? Whenever the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So what is there for me to argue with you about? What is there for me to say how stupid or how smart you are? Better yet, better yet, if you understand what I'm saying now, I definitely know it has nothing to do with me. You heard? Yeah, dig? It has nothing to do with me. So you're not gonna get me in the cut because I know. So again, this is not. And I also believe Panic said it a different way than the way that I'm saying it, though. I think he was using the Buddha example on how he didn't fall for that shit, right? But really, I mean, it's not even about falling for anything, standing up for something. It's just knowing what you know, knowing what you know what I know. Nigga, no, it's not gonna happen. My ego's still here. You know what I'm saying? Like I said in my last video, man, use this nigga. Send him, throw him a bone, tell him to go catch it. There's no war, there's no fight. But the bottom line is the information that you are feeding yourself. What are you feeding yourself, my dude? What kind of food are you eating? Is it the one that lets you know that, I don't know, just like if I were to use the same example that I just used, you're that intellectual, you're that educated, somebody else is stupid, or whatever the fuck it is. Do you understand what I'm saying? And it has nothing to do with that. And in fact, if you think somebody else is stupid, you might be the one. Just saying. Hmm. Now, I'm not saying that niggas are not stupid. What I'm saying is, me saying it is not saying it to make me look better, or just because I'm smart and shit. Do you understand what I'm saying? Well, grateful. You know what I'm saying? Definitely. But that's also what I've chosen too. So anyway, you take it as you will, as you please, motherfuckers. I guess that's all I gotta say, man. I don't know if there's anything else. I mean, shit, it's already 33 minutes. I felt like I touched on a lot of things that I feel like that will pretty much open up your mind. Ooh, we're gonna talk about that shit. I'm sipping. See the spirit. That's how the niggas work, man. You know what I'm saying? It's when it has to be said. When it's said, it is said. You know what I'm saying? It's said. But anyway, now the community ego. It's another downfall, right? And I'm also, I mean, I didn't want to say downfall, but anyway, um, this is what you need to understand about the ego or any type of information that you're feeding yourself that's not feeding your heart is that it doesn't allow you to be you. Now, with the community ego, as you're seeing in the black community, is that now, you know what I'm saying? And I'll give you a perfect example too, because I've seen that shit almost happen to Wyclef, right? As the first Haitian hip hop artist, not the first, but publicly known, right? And now it's like he got to dress a certain way, he's got to act a certain way because now he has not became just White Clef, but he became the image of Haiti, right? So it's pretty much the same thing that a lot of niggas are doing over here. Black people got to do this, and how can this nigga be the fucking image of Haiti, man? In fact, I was watching, that nigga, man, Charlemagne the God, right? So he said to White Clef, he had like, he was going for, nigga did what the fuck he wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? Had some bikini on, took a picture on a bike, nigga felt sexy. I guess he was bringing sexy back. Whatever the fuck it is, you know what I'm saying? That's on that nigga. What the fuck that has to do with Haiti though? You know what I'm saying? And then him saying that he was saying, Haiti doesn't want that right now. It's not the image that Haiti should be getting. See, that's the community ego. So when you become in that way, let's just say hypothetically, Wycliffe was feeding or was being fed or was feeding himself into that shit. He wouldn't know how to be himself. And that's exactly what happened with a lot of brothers in the communities now because of you acting just the way you want to act. Now you're thinking to yourself, okay, you got to represent this race, this thing, right? And well, you see that shit with Bill Cosby too. And 9 times out of 10, not to say 10 times out of 10, you're not being yourself. You're gonna be out of character. Those are the niggas that you gotta watch out for. And that's what you've been seeing throughout the whole fucking community. All the niggas that are trying to represent the hood, trying to represent black people, those are the people you need to stay away from. Because they're not being themselves and they have adopted that community motherfucking ego. So they don't know how to be themselves. And that's the issue with community ego. Because now everything you're saying, everything you're doing has to be representing, something. And in the mix of that, who are you? And ironically, people that are working on themselves, who've been working on themselves, are like, yo, dude, you could do what I do. In fact, don't even follow me. Because you understand that you are unique. You are a fucking individual. You do what you do. You do what it does. You know what I'm saying? So do you see the difference? And ironically too, and you can't give you don't have if you don't have, right? So what is it that you are giving by, being yourself or whatever the shit is here is that your knowledge, your experience, not necessarily the way other people have to act. Because now, by you becoming yourself, going through that process, you're also learning in that process, right? So that's why you are able to share something valuable to other people. Do you understand what I'm saying? Even me telling you about this here, if I wasn't doing it for me, how would I be able to tell you about it? I wouldn't be able to tell you about it. But the each one teach one, it takes a whole village to raise a child is true. But it is based on how you look at it, right? Now, for me, that is totally true. And I'll tell you, not because I have to, in fact, it's because of everything that I have encountered society, school, and all those things. I mean, I guess in a negative way, they're giving me whatever the fuck they're giving me. But me being able to, you know, accumulate that information and filter that shit out too. You got shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's everything that you come to learn. It's everything you get in contact to. It's everything that you're going through. That's what it meant by the village that raised a child. Not like, not the way they're looking at it, which is, what I'm saying, like you gotta act a certain way or be a certain way. I mean, all of that has, that's, I'm not even gonna hold you. It does, it doesn't, right? Like, how can I say this? Seeing positive image of what black people is will definitely help you. I'm not gonna take that, away from you. I mean, not just away from you, but away from anything. In fact, that's why hip hop is becoming the way it is now. They know the importance of it, you know. But what I'm trying to say is, is that when you're not doing that work for yourself, and now you claiming to this is how you want people to act, there's a discrepancy and a lack of connection, a discrepancy, even in your message too, because that's how we able to know all these niggas are faking. I don't want to call out no names, but you know who they are. Whoever you heard in the community that are stealing people's money and all that shit, doing all of that shit, they haven't worked on themselves. You know what I'm saying? Or niggas that are trying to pimp out the community, doing all that shit, they have not worked on themselves. But they picked on that community ego. This is what we need. This is what we gotta do to come out of this. And to come out of what? Okay, like, first of all, it's all perceptions. Wherever black people is now, it's all fucking perceptions. Yeah, let me tell you something, man. I'm from motherfucking Haiti, right? You know how they tell you, it's scary to go to Haiti and all that shit. And I'm over here hearing about Chicago. Shit, I live in Florida. Like shit that's happening in Little Haiti. Well, not even Little Haiti though, but I mean it's Haitians again. But what I'm trying to say is the shit that's happening in the states. You would not know any of that shit until you move and live in the state. You want to argue that? You can argue it with yourself, my nigga. So I'm just saying this to say it's all perception. You know what I'm saying? Like, right, let's take it a step further then. Like, people are being fed, but there's a lot of people that are not eating in this motherfucking country, man. You know what I'm saying? The country is known for food. Yeah, food to sell. Not even food for thoughts, nigga. They don't even have food for thoughts. You know what I'm saying? But they do have food for sale. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. It's all perception. Mhm. But yet, it's not being projected that way. So first of all, this is just to let you know, like, if it's not being projected that way, you know what I'm saying? What is being projected to you though, or what is being projected though? But I'm saying all of that to let's get back to what I was talking about before, as far as the community ego, which is to let you know, like, you know what I'm saying? It's all perception. You know what I'm saying? It's all perception. But most importantly, when you picked up on that community ego, oh shit. Oh yeah, I had to let one. Hey, you gotta let that one go. You know what I'm saying? I got it in a squeeze. But anyway, god damn. Okay, shit. That's how you know this shit's bad. Like you did that. Um, so the community ego. So now you don't get to be yourself. You don't know what you like, what you don't like. Now you have to attach to that picture that you're trying to project, right? So now you're not being yourself. What are you feeding here? You're not feeding your heart. And not feeding your heart, as you already know, is a recipe for disaster, man. I'm giving out recipes, niggas. You want to know what type of ingredients to put in that? Heart ingredient, nigga. So that has to do with the information that you're feeding, that you're being fed or that you're feeding yourself. So now, how do you know the difference between information? I mean, shit. I mean, it's pretty obvious, but for my peeps, at this point, because I felt like I break down so many things, or maybe I did not. I don't know, depending on how you look at it. But I felt like it's very simple and very easy, based on everything we just talked about, right? So, how do you know the difference between information that is fitting your heart, or information that's fitting your, lack of better terms, the ego, right? Um, Look at the results, man. Are you bloated? You fat? I'm saying you skinny? What the fuck it is? Do you understand what I'm saying? And I'm using all of that to make a point. I mean, I don't give a fuck about food itself, but I'm using all of that to illustrate that it's the food that you're eating, but most importantly, how is that information transforming you? Is it opening you up more? Are you becoming more passionate? And you can tell when you're becoming more passionate, like you're not ready to judge people. What you, with the modern day ego or the egotistical, um, I guess, society that we're living in now, you gotta be judgmental. Why would you not be? It wouldn't make sense not to be. I mean, if that's what you're feeding yourself on, you have to. And it's short-sighted too. So a lot of your judgments is going to be short-sighted. What you think it is not going to be what it is. You're going to fall short every time because it's not coming from the heart. Because it's looking at one perspective of things, one aspect of things. And that's why the ego, in so many ways, is, oh, my daughter's calling me. I'm gonna have to pause this, stop it from here, and this is it.